Coach steals it, tips it away to himself. He'll go to the hoop and slam it down.
They attack, they get a great shot.
Here he comes. And Lucas Cross.
Shot hits the post. And the centering feed to Luke Gibson. Shot scores.
The rush comes. Oh, almost picked off by Ethan Hoover.
And the takedown.
Welcome in, everyone, to game number 2 of the Central Basketball Association semifinal round. The winner in game number 1 was the Indianapolis Blaze over the Memphis Rail Runners. The Blaze winning at 98-80. Here in game number 2, it's the number 2 seed, the Middle Tennessee Storm, coming in with a 7-1 record, taking on the host team, the number 3 seeded Fort Wayne Flite, your back-to-back Central Basketball Association champions. The Flite with a 5-3 record. Fort Wayne, who finished the regular season with a 5-3 record for the second straight year, qualifies as the 3rd seed. In their first year in the CBA in 2014, Fort Wayne made it to the semifinals as a 3 seed. In 2015, Fort Wayne made it one step further to the title game as a 4 seed. And in 2016, as the top seed, Fort Wayne earned its first championship. And in 2017, as the 2nd seed, they won their 2nd straight title. Fort Wayne is 6-2 all-time in the playoffs, including winning their last 4 games, and is 4-1 in the state of Indiana in the playoffs. As far as the Middle Tennessee Storm, they swept the weekend series against Bowling Green this past weekend to finish the regular season with a 7-1 record. A massive turnaround from their 1-7 regular season record last year. Middle Tennessee, who won the league title in 2014 and finished runner-up in 2016, earned their 4th postseason berth in their 6-year history this year. So, Andrew, we saw in game number 1 the Memphis Rail Runners going down. Here in game number 2, what a matchup we have. But once again, Middle Tennessee will be playing without a few of their players, as Michael Vardaman, Marquise Patton, Roy McFadden, Dominique Rouse, and Reed Burke could not make the trip. So they are going to have a roster of 6 players here in this semifinal round.
Yeah, and that's a huge loss, especially when you bring up Patton, a 3-point shooter for them, but also leads the team with 7 assists a game and has a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, which is awesome for any ball handler, primary ball handler. He also leads the team with 3.6 steals a game. He may have been arrested for that many thefts. That's a huge amount of steals. So a big loss there for Coach Wilhite and his team. But oftentimes playing with just a limited number of bodies, 6 in this case for Middle Tennessee tonight, sometimes you can just, right away from the get-go, your back's up against the wall. You don't find excuses throughout the game, and it can prove to be effective as long as the conditioning level is there for the players tonight. And if they, are able to pull it off, what a challenge that would be tomorrow to lace them up at 2 p.m., less than 24-hour turnaround would be the challenge for the championship game. The Flite, on the other hand, obviously they would win if it was a football game. They got 11 bodies to 6 for the Storm. But in talking with Coach Wilmot all season long, he has really been about play defense, offensively play the right way and take your shots. Passing to create the right shot, and then just being aggressive on the offensive end, doing what they do. And again, that is doing what they do is a positive thing. You mentioned them, the Flite being back-to-back champions and looking for a 3rd opportunity by earning a right to play in tomorrow's championship game.
Well, here in this matchup, we have 2 of the premier scorers in CBA history, and it's starting you off with Miles Thrash, who ranks number 2 in the CBA, averaging 24.1 points per game. Antonio Cannon ranks number 7, averaging 20.6 points per game. Antonio Cannon, the 2014 CBA MVP, And to be honest with you, Miles Thrash could have been named the MVP in really any of those seasons, Andrew. He's that good. The veteran Miles Thrash comes in at age 37 years old, goes 6 foot, 160 pounds. But don't get it twisted. Miles Thrash plays like he's 17 years old.
As a 36-year-old, I am in awe of that ability. He's got a high game of 35 this year, and he is always in attack mode. He averages 5 assists, but also 5 turnovers a game, does Thrash. But you love to see grown men out there doing it. Shout out to the 37-year-old.
In this past weekend, some of the best performances in the CBA, Elijah Wilson Thomas for Fort Wayne had 29 points, 5 rebounds at Baltimore on April the 27th. Wadner Joseph with 11 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block. Wadner Joseph has been a staple for Benny Lewis. Rod Wilmot and the Fort Wayne Flite, always doing a great job. Miles Thrash, 23 points, only 23 points for Miles Thrash last weekend in his game versus Bowling Green, but had 9 rebounds and 6 assists as well. And Joshua Sane, 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. So this is going to be one heck of a matchup. Middle Tennessee Storm based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and they've got some good basketball being played in the city of Nashville.
Absolutely. Nashville known for their music, but the Storm trying to gain a little attention in that city, and an awesome opportunity in front of them. But a great challenge as well. The Flite are experienced. They are athletic. They have a lot of continuity, positive continuity, and are hungry with an opportunity to meet the Blaze in tomorrow's championship game. That would be the 3rd matchup for the Flite and the Blaze. The Blaze winning both of those. And you can bet, the Flite want to protect their home court and earn that right to play in tomorrow's championship game.
Once again, Middle Tennessee won the CBA championship back in 2014, beating the St. Louis Hawks, and the Fort Wayne Flite are back-to-back CBA champions. We're going to send it to our PA announcer.
And the Central Basketball Association. We hope you enjoy the game. We intend to have an exciting game, so we ask you to continue to support the league and the Flite. Remember, this is a family activity. We ask that you refrain from profanity or foul language and gestures. Throwing objects on the court is prohibited. These rules are for your safety as well as our athletes. You will be escorted off the premises for any disruptions. If you're ready, our starting lineups. First for the visiting Fort Wayne Flite on the scoreboard. At 1 guard, a 5'11" graduate of Indiana Tech University, wearing number 1, Antonio Cannon. At the other guard, standing in at 5'11" from Penn State University, number 2, Lance Williams Jr. At forward, 6'4" from Lincoln Memorial University, wearing number 8, Wadner Joseph. At forward, at 6'6" from the University of West Florida, number 11, Terrence Beasley. And at forward, 6'8", 240 pounds, from Glen Oaks Community College, Antonio Wilson. The Flite coach.
Traditional starting lineup for Coach Wilmot's Flite. We see the experience in that starting lineup.
Tennessee Storm. Starting at guard, standing in at 6 foot even, from Stillman College, number 1, Miles Thrash. At the other guard, 6'5" from Middle Tennessee State University, wearing number 3, Joshua Sane. Wearing number 4, a 6'8" forward from Georgia Perimeter College, Kevin Wilkinson. Another guard, 6'2", 190 pounds from Tennessee State University, wearing number 8, Brent Paxton. And then forward, 6'6" from the University of Southern Mississippi, number 15, Tori Pelham. The Storm coached by Nathan Wilhite. The winner of this game will take on the Indianapolis Blaze in the league championship tomorrow at 2 here at Horizon Christian Academy.
And that is correct. Tomorrow's championship at 2 p.m. here at the Horizon Christian Academy. The winner of this game taking on the Indianapolis Blaze. Blaze looking to get over the hump, if you will. They were the regular season champions last year, but lost in the CBA championship game to the Fort Wayne Flite. They're back in the championship, and they are looking prime for their first title.
Could be an all-Indiana showdown, and if you're walking in and looking at the benches, that is your first assumption, as, again, the Storm only bringing 6 players for the contest, but the Storm on a 5-game win streak, haven't lost since April 8th. That's about 30 days ago. Maybe they forgot how to lose.
Antonio Wilson in the Flite gained possession as Terrence Beasley takes the tip from Antonio Big T Wilson. Handoff goes to Antonio Cannon, being guarded by Joshua Sane.
Boy, the Flite loved to ISO Beasley to start the game, and he gets it there on the right elbow, but unable to finish.
Thrash in transition gets it up to number 8, Frank Thaxton, gets his own board. Miles Thrash, the savvy point guard, a great shooter here in the Central Basketball Association. Down low, that was Tori Pelham with the miss, as Cannon brings it up for the Flite.
And they love to give Cannon those drag ball screens, let him read the defense and make the right decision. And Beasley, often leading the Flite and scoring in the first quarter, gets things started.
2-0 Fort Wayne as we are 55 seconds into this one. 3-point attempt, nothing but the bottom of the net for Joshua Sane.
Poor transition defense there by the Flite, left Sane, a 34% three-point shooter, wide open in the corner.
Cannon over to Lance Williams Jr. wearing the aqua shoes. Three-pointers off the mark, and that was rebounded by Thaxton and getting caught underneath him. I believe it was Wadner Joseph picking up the foul.
Yeah, a little hand in the cookie jar there by Joseph.
Is that
it was oatmeal raisin cookie.
Frank Thaxton found a seam, floater from 12 feet out is no good, rebounded by Beasley. Cannon going the other direction with the Fort Wayne Flite. He rises up for 3, and it's good. Cannon hits his first bucket of the game.
Good news for Cannon, good news for the Flite.
Antonio Cannon entering today as a 32% three-point shooter, hitting 21 of 66.
And you see the difference there. Sane got another look at a 3, but that time a hand was in his face, and a little different result for Sane.
We're already seeing more fouls called here at the beginning of this game than we did at the beginning of game number 1.
Yeah, the officials let them play, and it's the same officials. They really let the first 2 teams play in game 1. And obviously we'll see how this game is called. Another ISO for Beasley.
Beasley working against Thaxton, can't get around him. Williams Jr. for 3. Back rim's no good. Beasley putback is.
Just working hard, might have got away with one there, but sometimes when you work that hard, they don't call it.
Tori Pelham definitely not happy with the officiating. Joshua Sane also in the ear of the refs, as that was 3-on-5 being played. Nice steal by Miles. Thrash as Pelham throws it down off glass.
Sweet, sassy.
One of the better dunks we've seen all day, Andrew. The combination of Pelham and Miles Thrash. Hanging in the air was Cannon, can't finish. Rebounded by Sane.
That was a finish by Pelham, goodness gracious.
Long three-point attempt, back rim's no good by Sane. Wadner Joseph with the long rebound. Lance Williams Jr. on his horse goes up with the right hand.
That was a reaching layup. He just put it outside the defender's hand, prevented the block shot there. Nice reaching drive by Lance Williams Jr.
Flite up 9-5. Wilson grabs the board, gets it up to Wadner Joseph. Wide open. Cannon, second three-point attempt. No good as it left rims out. Miles Thrash with the rebound.
And
Thrash rises up top of the key.
You're exactly right. Thrash looks youthful out there and looks like he has energy for days. Great shooting form on that one.
Miles Thrash reminds you of Anthony White Jr., doesn't he? With that stroke.
Frail yet.
Beasley inside the arc. No good on the jumper. Thrash gets the board. Miles. Sane for three. And it rims in for Joshua Sane. He's got 2 3-pointers now. He's got 6 points as Nashville, Middle Tennessee, takes the lead 11-9.
And the Flite got to like the pace with the bodies that they have early on. We'll see if the Storm can keep this up for 4 quarters.
Antonio Cannon looking to create here on the near wing. Left-hand dribble drive, has it knocked away by Sane. Then Pelham from behind gets the steal. Thaxton. He's going to be fouled. Foul goes on, is it Beasley, number 11?
Good defense on this end by the Storm. We're going to go back, if we can, to that transition effort there early. We saw the steal by Thrash and then watch the drop off by Thrash. He gets a steal at half court and then a little off the glass to Pelham, who cocks it back with one hand. Both teams ready to play in the first 4.5 minutes.
Checking in for Middle Tennessee, it's Marquette Knight. Taking a breather is Frank Thaxton. Cannon takes it for the Flite. 2 steps to the cup, no good. Beasley down there looking for the putback. It falls, and he'll head to the free throw line for the and one.
Boy, great transition defense there by the Storm. I'm surprised that Cannon attacked it, but gave Beasley a chance to get an offensive rebound. A tough putback by Beasley.
11-11 is your score with 5:28 left to play in the first quarter, and it's Beasley at the free throw line.
A quick 6 points for Beasley, and that's almost the norm here for the Flite. Beasley often the leading scorer after the first 10 minutes.
And that should not surprise you, as Terrence Beasley entering today's action, a 93% free throw shooter. He's now hit 13 of 14. 3-point attempt is no good by Kevin Wilkinson. Cannon on the other end. Wow. Finger roll, rolls in.
Some people say only the Iceman can finger roll, but Antonio Cannon can also finger roll.
He now has 5 points. Pass picked up by Cannon. 1-on-2 goes out to Lance Williams Jr. Knocked away from behind. Jr. 3-pointer from the corner, no good. Beasley's putback gets his own rebound. Has Cannon wide open. Beasley on the block, off glass, banks open.
Tough finish. I think the only way he could have made that was to go window, and he did.
Beasley has 9 points in the first 5.5 minutes of this game. Pelham, lob pass goes down low to Wilkinson. Sane walled off, 3-point attempt, rims in.
Sane is on fire.
Sane has been insane from beyond the arc. He's got 3 3-pointers made. Williams Jr. finds Big T, Antonio Wilson.
Boy, I don't know what was better, the dish or the catch. Nice hands there by Big Tone.
Thrash over the timeline. Nice behind the back as Wilson was on Williams Jr. was on an island.
Not a lot of people pull up from 20 feet when a lane is that wide open, but usually when Antonio Wilson is defending the lane, you want to avoid it.
Nice behind the back pass to Pelham with the flush.
Pelham, often the recipient of beautiful dimes from Miles Thrash. Those two have a connection, and we've seen it early in the first quarter.
Torrey Pelham has about the most exciting 4 points you'll ever see in a basketball contest. Has Beasley knocks down the triple.
The Flite are not here to celebrate the greatness that is Pelham and Thrash. Instead, Beasley responding.
Beasley with a game-high 12 points. 3:05 left to play in the first. Pelham for three, and he's got distance added to his game.
He's doing it from 1 feet, and he's doing it from 21 feet. Pelham wants to play 2 games this weekend.
Cannon being guarded by Sane, gets right past him, rises up, 12-foot jumper. That's a beautiful thing by Antonio Cannon.
When he puts it in his left hand and slowly rocks it, you don't know if he's going to hesitate and go or cross it over. And that time, a nice pull-up 5-footer.
Down on the block, huge block by Wadner Joseph, as that was Kevin Wilkinson, but the three-pointer is good by Sane.
Sane has hit 4 threes and looks like he's done it before. He's got a look of this is normal, me hitting shots in the first quarter.
23-22 is your score. Deflected pass picked up by Pelham. Sane, will he hit 5? No good. Rebounded by Joseph. And a foul's going to be called there on Joshua Sane, as that was a miniature bear hug there.
Yeah, and you know, anytime a bear hugs you, it's dangerous if it's a cub, if it's a mama bear, and that was, I believe, an attempt at a bear hug to prevent a bucket.
So Ronald Lucas going to check in for the Flite, along with Kendon Lewis, the high flyer. Number 3, Kendon from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Same too with Ronald Lucas. A lot of the Flite players, hometown, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah, and we're going to check this. You start to see the subs come in for the Flite, obviously fresh legs. This is something that the Storm will not be able to do all game. And right now, the pace is up and down. We're going to see if the Storm can keep that up for 40 minutes.
Elijah Wilson Thomas also into the game for the Flite. Long rebound by Miles Thrash. Thrash rises up for 3, knocks it down.
Boy, anybody who knows basketball saw that pull-up. Anybody who knows Miles Thrash saw that pull-up coming after he took his first dribble. Willing to let it fly is Miles Thrash.
Putback attempt by Kendon Lewis, no good. Middle Tennessee Storm, whoa, turnaround by Thrash, no good. They've already got 7 3-pointers. Will they get 8? No. Kendon Lewis with the board. And now another foul. Is that called on 3? Sure is. Sane with 2 now.
If that turnaround 24-foot three-point shot would have went in, I might have left the building.
Who's going to run the scoreboard?
That's a good point. I'll stick around.
Ronald Lucas over the timeline with 1:12 left to play in the first quarter.
Little 2-3 zone look by the Storm. This might be to save legs and energy, but Kendon Lewis
knocks down the triple. Flite back up, 26-25. Thrash, crafty on the dribble, has it knocked away, picks up the loose ball, but now it's Wilson Thomas. Lob to Kendon Lewis. Boom! Shakalaka! Kendon Lewis now with 5 points.
Boy, Kendon Lewis is the icing on that cake, but give Elijah Wilson Thomas all the chef baking in the kitchen work, because he created that with a floor dive.
And now we got a charge going to be called against Frank Thaxton. The energy levels picking up here at the Horizon Christian Academy.
As is the volume of the fans liking what they see from both teams. And again, a 2-3 zone look for the Storm in the last 20 seconds.
17 seconds left to play here in quarter number 1. The Flite up 28-25. Wilson Thomas goes up with the right, had it blocked. Pelham down on the block, Thaxton. And that will not count as the buzzer had sounded. So after 1, it's going to be 28-25. Fort Wayne on top. Andrew, what do you got for him?
Boy, the action intense in the first quarter, and it really started with the Storm getting out in transition a couple times. We saw the Thrash to Pelham connection a couple of times, including this one here. Watch it as the turnover happens, and Thrash, little behind the back. He's going to do that again and find Pelham, who catches it with 1-2, no dribble. But the Flite defensive effort also impressive. Watch it here as Elijah Wilson-Thomas gets things started with a floor dive, kicks it up to Ronald Lucas, who little touch and a little flush by Kendon Lewis.
Can you say elevation?
Worth the price of admission, fans. Just the action in the first 10 minutes between these two teams. Threes, dunks, up and down.
It's been a fun first quarter. Should come as no surprise that the head coach of the Middle Tennessee Storm is Nathan Wilhite, who took a little bit of a hiatus. Last year, it was the owner, Carlin Alford, coaching the team, but Nathan Wilhite is back. Middle Tennessee goes from 1-7 to 7-1 in the course of a season. Head coach of the Fort Wayne Flite is Roderick Wilmot, the former Indiana Hoosier. Coach Wilmot leads the CBA in all-time coaching wins, so he is the top of the mountain, if you will, in coaching wins in Central Basketball Association history.
I believe they call that the Mountain Peak.
The summit.
Rod Wilmot, a Florida native himself, a couple of Florida natives on the Flite team, Wadner Joseph and Terrence Beasley.
And I believe Coach Wilmot holds a record at IU for three-pointers in a game. 9 three-pointers made.
That is significant considering the amount of shooters that have come through that prestigious university.
Kevin Wilkinson with his first bucket of the game. That'll pull the Storm to within one, 28-27. Big T Wilson. As that's eventually picked up by Miles Thrash. Thrash, the outlet pass up to Thaxton, who finishes.
Boy, tough catch in traffic. Almost got sandwiched in there between two bodies, but able to come down and finish the assist there for Thrash.
Ronald Lucas, top of the key, three-pointer, lefty stroke. It's good for Ron.
Like the confidence for Lucas. He missed his first one as soon as he entered the game in this first quarter, but very confident. And then defensively, he's got the Miles Thrash assignment. That is an important homework assignment for anybody.
Fadeaway jumper just left a little bit short. Kendon Lewis going the other direction with the Fort Wayne Flite. Kendon Lewis just kind of hovering in the air.
And then able to avoid the defender there with the scoop and body protection. You're right, that kind of hang time gives you all sorts of opportunities to be creative.
Three-point attempt off the back of the rim, no good by number 6, Marquette Knight. And possession going to stay with Fort Wayne. Joining us in the booth is the president of the Central Basketball Association, Wasim Murad. Wasim, it's been an exciting start to the second game and a good first game here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of passion here. It's a rematch of the 2016 CBA championship. Fort Wayne won that one by 27, so Nashville's got some revenge on their minds, but it's been very competitive here at Horizon.
And a back-to-back three-pointers there for Ronald Lucas, as he has 6 points now, all in the second quarter. And Wasim, I was mentioning Miles Thrash just short. It should come to as no surprise that the coach of the Middle Tennessee Storm, Nathan Wilhite, is back coaching Middle Tennessee. They go from 1-7 to 7-1.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the same coach who won the championship back in 2014, and prior to Fort Wayne's Rod Wilmot becoming the active winning coach in the CBA, at that time it was Nathan Wilhite. Nathan Wilhite was the head coach of Welsh College down in Nashville for 12 years. And look, the first year they were the favorites in 2013. They finished with a winning record, and then the second year in 2014 they won the championship. And taking a team from 1-7 to 7-1, that's a big deal.
Absolutely. And Middle Tennessee finishing 4-3 in that first season in 2013 when the Hawks won it. Torrey Pelham going up with the right hand, could not finish. As coming down with the rebound was number 9 for the Fort Wayne Flite. Robert Banks.
Yeah, 3 ball is kind of contagious for the Flite. They've extended the lead to 10 points and get stops on this end. Thrash with another turnaround, this time from 17 feet, and that one drops. Impressive footwork by Miles Thrash.
For Miles Thrash, that's his 8th point of the game, and it's so nice to see Thrash back in the playoffs, Wasim.
Absolutely. I mean, last year was a little bit tough for him, battling through injuries, wasn't a big force, but look at what he did this year. 2nd in the league in scoring, and coming back strong. It's no coincidence. Look, he was one of the best scorers in the league with Nathan at the helm, and now Nathan comes back, and he's doing the same thing. So it's very good to have him here, especially with Miles now having a pending contract offer on the table. He needs to put on a good performance here. So
Miles Thrash, the fadeaway jumper is no good. Kendon Lewis has got the hot hand for the Flite. Goes straight to the cup. He will not be denied.
Boy, he just hit a 3 about a minute ago, and so he got the closeout he wanted. But that one dribble attack Euro step was not easy.
Pelham regains control. Wasim, what's exciting about this game is the 2 of the most prolific scorers in the Central Basketball Association, Miles Thrash and Antonio Cannon. Of course, Cannon won the 2014 MVP, but really, in almost any season, Miles Thrash could have been the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he was favored to be the MVP the first season in 2013, but his shooting guard mate, backcourt mate, DeMarco Pope won it. But Miles and Cannon, I mean, these are now the veterans. I mean, think about it. Cannon's been in the league since 2014. Thrash has been in the league since 2013. They're one of the most prolific scorers in the league, and both are approaching, if you kind of look through the record books, almost 1,000 points, career points, playing in the CBA.
Well, what a baseline take there by Elijah Wilson-Thomas on the other end, switching to the right hand.
Call that the dead fish, a floater by Wilson-Thomas.
So Ronald Lucas looks like possession's going to stay with Middle Tennessee, based out of Nashville. What a great hotbed for talent there under the Middle Tennessee president, Carlin Alford, who's in attendance today.
Yes, he is. You know, he was in the stands, 2 years ago when they were in the championship game against Fort Wayne. It wasn't a good performance for him, but I'm sure he's happy to be on the sidelines, in the crowd rather than on the sidelines. So, go ahead.
I was going to say, what exciting times with the partnership in Antigua. Who doesn't want to spend some time in the Caribbean playing basketball? I know Baltimore had a down season this year. They finished with a 1-7 record. So not exactly what the Shuckers wanted, but they've got players playing overseas getting great opportunities right now. One
of the greatest things of what Baltimore did out there in Maryland is that they recruited a lot of talent last year with Torrey Fassett, Benny Aiko, and Jermaine Bolden. And all 3 of them traveled to Antigua earlier this year with our partnership with the Caribbean, and all 3 made it. And right now, as we speak, actually tomorrow, Torrey's team will be battling Jermaine's team for a battle of first place down there, and Benny's team is in 3rd place. So they're doing very well down there, and the Caribbeans are excited to bring in more athletes from the CBA.
And you got a replay for the folks real quick?
Yeah, we've been talking about the offense here in game 2 early in the first half, but the Flite also playing some defense here on this action. The Storm are actually going to get it to Pelham on the right wing, and he's going to drive it middle. Excuse me, that's Sane, and watch the bounce pass, but then Wadner Joseph says, no, sir. That's a volleyball spike block, so defense is in the building.
Huge block for Wadner Joseph, who's been a staple for this Fort Wayne Flite squad. He, Antonio Cannon, Antonio Wilson, they've been sticking with it ever since the 2014 season.
Yeah, they've been a great presence. And they've taken advantage of international opportunities as well, at least Antonio Wilson, who's been to China twice, and Antonio Cannon, who's been to Canada and Brazil.
So Terrence Beasley gets his first bucket of the second quarter. Right place at the right time, picking up the loose ball.
Boy, exactly right. And Beasley, again, always with the head up, able to score it. And the Flite, as a lot of teams do, love that double high ball screen for the ball handler, and a scoring opportunity created.
Miles Thrash for 3. That's his 3rd 3 of the game. He now has 11 points.
That is a quick trigger by Miles Thrash. Hard to guard.
Great release. And you said, Wasim, there might be an opportunity for Thrash to play overseas one more time?
Yeah, right now he's mulling a contract offer from South America. It's actually the same team he played for almost a decade ago. There were scouts in the audience a couple weeks ago in the game against Bowling Green. They liked him, and now they've offered a contract to him, and he's mulling the opportunity to see if he'll go. It'll be an opportunity for this summer.
And what a season for Marquise Patton. He's had a great CBA career. He's not in attendance today. He averages 16 points per game. But once again, I heard he's on a flight to Israel for some more opportunities.
Yeah, so he's currently on a flight to Israel. He's got an opportunity that showed up. I remember Marquise Patton, who's been flirting with triple-doubles throughout the whole season, played in Israel last year. And, you know, the thing is, when you play abroad, when you get your first opportunity to play abroad and you do well, those teams want to bring you back. And once you have one country on your resume, other countries start bidding for you, or other teams within that country start bidding for you and trying to get your services. So this is a great opportunity. Sometimes that opportunity comes, one game into a season. As you probably remember from Raymond Austin in Fort Wayne, it was a couple games and he went to Thailand. Yeah. Sometimes it comes towards the end of the season, like we see with Marquise Patton, and sometimes it comes 6 months, 8 months later, as it did with the 3 Shuckers players.
Wasim, with the detailed statistics here in the CBA, Marquise Patton averaging 9.9 rebounds per game, 6.9 assists per game, 3.6 steals per game, while shooting 51.6% from the field, 43% from beyond the arc. Marquise Patton just outstanding, averaging 16 points per game.
And the funny part is he's not even the best player on that team. You got players like Pelham and Thrash that have done great this year if you look at the stats, especially Joshua Sane, too, who's scored a bunch from outside, I believe 4 3-pointers so far.
The camera never lies. Those are legit statistics here in the Central Basketball Association. Ronald Lucas getting some high fives as he exits the game there, Andrew.
Yeah, Lucas and Lewis, the two lefties, doing it from behind the line, but also as they attack the basket on the offensive end. Balanced scoring for the Flite, and it's been that way all season.
Nice rebound down low. Wilkinson cannot get it to fall, and possession is going to go to the Fort Wayne Flite. It's amazing at 37 years old, Miles Thrash always looks like the most well-conditioned athlete on the basketball court.
It reminds, if you remember your NBA from the 90s, the Orlando Magic had a guard, Daryl, I think it was Beasley, and almost identical in their game, their quickness, and their size as well. Daryl, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to look that up.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andrew, we talked about Anthony White Jr., but really Miles Thrash is almost a combination of Hopkins and Anthony White Jr. because of his ability to do so much defensively and drive to the cup dish and hit down the jumpers.
Yeah, kind of got the frame of White and the creativity maybe of Hopkins.
Antonio Cannon entered the league as a high flyer. He was a human highlight reel as Lance Williams Jr. misses on the three-point attempt possession in favor of Middle Tennessee out of Nashville.
Coach Wilmot's got to like the way Beasley crashes the offensive boards here in the first half.
Joshua Sane has been on fire from beyond the arc. Wilkinson, the bounce pass goes down as Marquette Knight finishes on the block.
Yeah, Fort Wayne went a little 2-3 zone there. They were able to match up to Sane, the shooter, who's already hit 4 this game. And on the backside, Knight finds himself wide open.
47-38 with 2:28 left to play in the second quarter. Williams Jr. with the dish to Banks. No foul called as he was looking for one. Thrash the other way. What a pass to Torrey Pelham, who had it ripped away from behind by Beasley. Floater, no good by Cannon. Outlet pass, tracked down by Thrash. He'll rise up wide away and get fouled. He'll head to the free throw line to shoot 3. What great body control there as he was tiptoeing the sideline, just rose up. Missed on the three-pointer, but he's going to get 3 free chances.
He makes it look easy out there, and I think if I took a foul like that at my age, I don't know if I'd get back up the way Thrash just did.
Thrash averaging 82.9% from the charity stripe, hitting 29 of 35 entering today's action. Miles Thrash, 169 points on the season. Antonio Cannon, 165. Those guys are so close in what they can do offensively.
Yeah, and obviously, Cannon's, credit and benefit maybe in this game, much more balanced scoring from his team. Obviously, more bodies on the bench, but also scoring power and punch from a lot of those bodies that help Cannon make it the only person. You can't just focus on him. Defenses can't just focus on Antonio Cannon on the offensive end.
And that's definitely one of the ways we've seen Antonio Cannon's game progress throughout his CBA career. He entered the league as a high flyer who's like a one-man human highlight reel with the amazing dunks that we've seen. But now here in his, I believe this is his 5th season in the CBA, he averages 5.8 rebounds per game and 2.9 assists per game, along with 1.3 steals per game.
So Antonio Cannon is the perfect example for aspiring athletes. One of the things that folks do is they think, if I score the most points, all the overseas folks will pick me up or whatnot, or I'll be in the headlines, or I'll be player of the week or whatnot. Antonio Cannon averaged 25 points a game in his first year. League MVP. Didn't get a single contract offer. Then the year after, Coach Wilmot worked with him, tried to round out his game. He was dishing the ball more, grabbing more boards, and the year after got a contract offer in Brazil. And so that's the trend. If you look everywhere we go across the league, the players that are all-rounders, that can play defense, that can play offense, they're not just one-trick ponies. They're the ones that get the opportunities. Look at Marquise Patton. We talked about him earlier. Right now he's sitting on a plane heading to Israel. Well, why is that? He scores, but then he's averaging 9.9 rebounds, 6.9 assists, 3.6 steals, plays both ends of the court. So for aspiring athletes out there that are looking at, I'm just going to shoot threes all day and make them, or I'm going to play inside and just score all the points, that's not what overseas scouts are looking for. They're looking for people that can play both ends, that can play multiple positions, and they can play different ends of the court. They're not just good with the ball in their hands, without the ball as well.
And once again, the camera doesn't lie. Every single game is videotaped. The video is up on the YouTube channel, so these scouts can see what you're doing when the ball's not in your hand as well.
There's no reason why people shouldn't get involved with the CBA. I mean, right now, look, we've had over 500 people, 500 former Division I athletes playing the CBA. Over 200 have gotten international opportunities. And what do these scouts look? They look at the video. That's your resume.
Frank Thaxton cannot hit down low in traffic. Possession is going to stay with Middle Tennessee.
First look at Fort Wayne's Trevor Lucas. Just checked in. Started some games earlier. This is his first year with the Flite.
Lucas averaging 9.9 points per game entering today's contest.
A confident shooter out of Brownsburg, Indiana. Played collegiately at Anderson University.
The Brownsburg Bulldogs. Actually just about 50 minutes away from Danville, Illinois, where the coal miners reside. Three-pointer rims in for Antonio Cannon. His second three-pointer of the game.
And Cannon does it over good defense over the outstretched arm of number 4, Kevin Wilkinson.
Pelham, nice feed to Thaxton down the block. Frank Thaxton has 4 points, all coming here in the second quarter. 1 minute left to play in the second frame. Lucas shot off the mark, rebounded by Joseph. Lucas left hand takes, no good. Thaxton with the rebound. Frank Thaxton now pushing it for the Storm. Floater. Avoided contact there with Cannon and knocks it down. 6 points for Frank Thaxton. Nashville only down by 5 now with 37 seconds left to play in the frame.
Nice look by Cannon indeed.
Outlet pass goes to Thrash, has Torrey Pelham, but he'll take it himself, thank you.
Boy, he caught that at half court and in one dribble got all the way, not just to the rim, but to the backboard and able to convert that transition opportunity.
Middle Tennessee may only have 6 players today, but Miles Thrash, that's like adding 3 more, the veteran. But Antonio Cannon's hot. He's on fire. Shot off the top of the backboard will be no good. So we're going to head into the halftime break, 53-47. Fort Wayne on top. Andrew, what did you see there in the first half from the Fort Wayne Flite that give them this 6-point advantage?
Well, some balanced scoring, but huge play off the bench. Again, Kendon Lewis, we said earlier, came in attacking the basket, hit some timely threes, as did Ronald Lucas III, who always comes in confident. The two lefties provided some scoring punch and really allowed the Flite to extend a lead to 10 points. You thought it might break open from there, but the Storm respond in large part due to Thrash, but also some big minutes there by Pelham and some shooting by Joshua Sane. The next 20 minutes, really anybody's ball game. We'll see if those number of bodies and tired legs play a factor in the second 20 minutes.
Once again, we're joined by the CBA president, Wasim Murad. And Wasim, you said there might be some other opportunities for people to get involved with the CBA in the works here in the near future.
Yeah, one of the things that we're working on is, during the season we have a lot of CBA players that get involved with the league and they accumulate stats and video and get opportunities with the league. But what happens if you're living in California and there's no CBA team over there? Or you tried out for a CBA team and weren't able to make a roster. Does that mean now you're not going to get any opportunities? And that's not the case anymore with the way the CBA is running. Well, we're going to open up showcase events during the fall and do it in different CBA cities, Baltimore, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Nashville, Memphis, along with other cities as well if possible. And where folks that have not had an opportunity to play in the CBA, or they're CBA alumni or current CBA players, they'll have the opportunity to showcase their talents in front of international scouts, in front of CBA representatives, but also gives folks the opportunity, if they want to go overseas, to understand or if they're prepared for FIBA rules and regulations, do interviews with potential scouts. Just because you're good on the court doesn't mean you're a good person off the court, or vice versa. So they, international teams, organizations, they're all looking for the whole package. How are you on the court? How are you off the court? If you didn't go to school, why is that? It's just like a job interview. And so these opportunities will come out in the fall, which will allow us to then take the top athletes from these showcase events and take them to the Caribbean, or take them to Australia, or take them to Europe, just like we've done with CBA players over the last 5 years.
And what a great opportunity for those aspiring players to once again kind of get evaluated to see exactly where they stand. And you never know. It's not exactly like a lottery, but in the same sense, the best of the best are going to have an opportunity to showcase their talents in front of prospective teams that have contract offers. And what a good thing for these basketball players to, number one, kind of be cultured going overseas, but number two, make money while playing basketball and not really having a whole lot of expenses.
Absolutely. I mean, here in Fort Wayne, look at the example of Terrence Beasley and Ronald Lucas. They follow the path of Benny Lewis, who was in Australia for 15 to 20 years, and they took that leap and went to Australia, and they played there for the last couple of years, and they get that experience. And the thing is, it's what I said at the onset of my appearance here, is that once you get an opportunity on your resume, it's so much easier to get the next contract. And for the folks right now that are in the Caribbean, we have 8 players that are down there. All 8, we took 8 down there in January. All 8 got contracts, and all are thriving. Again, it doesn't matter if you were part of a team that made the playoffs here or didn't make the playoffs. At the end of the day, what are you doing to advance your career? Yep. Are you taking advantage of the opportunities in front of you? Are you seizing them? Or are you waiting for something to fall in your lap? If you're waiting for something to fall in your lap, you're never going to have that moment. You got to go out and get them.
Well, once again, what a first half we have here at the Horizon Christian Academy. The Middle Tennessee Storm down 53-47. Looking at the scoring for the Storm, Miles Thrash with 16 points. Joshua Sane hit 4 3-pointers all in the first quarter, Andrew, and he has 12 points. Kevin Wilkinson with 4 points. Marquette Knight with 2. Frank Thaxton with 6. Torrey Pelham with 7. As the Thrash scored 25 in the first and 22 in the second quarter. Looking at the Fort Wayne Flite, Antonio Cannon with 13 points. Lance Williams Jr. with 2. Kendon Lewis with 12. Ronald Lucas with 8 points. Eliza Wilson Thomas with 2 points. Terrence Beasley with a team-high 14. And Antonio Wilson with 2 points. Big T still, what a presence on the block there defensively for the Flite.
Absolutely, one of the best defensive rebounders in the CBA. And again, we mentioned in the first game how, second and fourth quarter scoring, the Blaze are so good at that. The Flite, the third quarter, has been their quarter all season long, outscoring opponents on the season, that 8-game season, 231 to 157 in the third quarter alone. And obviously they want to take this 6-point lead and expand it in the next 10 minutes. And again, if you match up their field goal percentage, 45% for both teams, 35% three-point shooting for both teams, really evenly matched. But I think what's going to, tell the story in the second half is the legs of the Storm, and if they are there. Only 6 bodies. Do the math, Jeff. That's 12 legs. They might get tired in the next 20 minutes. And we'll see. Obviously, Coach Wilmot's going to want to keep the pace up.
Here's the thing, Jeff. You probably remember this. Andrew, I don't know if you were part of the CBA at the time, but don't tell Fort Wayne about 6 players. Because Bowling Green in 2015 had 6 players in the championship and beat Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
So whenever they hear the word 6 players, they kind of cringe.
And one of those 6 players was Chris Watson. And what a career he's put together, Wasim. Still follow him on Facebook, but I've never seen somebody smile as much as Chris Watson because he's literally living out a dream.
The funniest part with Chris Watson was a football athlete at Pikeville. And he, just like Jameel Best, who played in the Memphis game, Jameel Best played football his entire life and now is trying to take advantage of a basketball opportunity. So Chris Watson played defense for Pikeville, then switched over to basketball. And with Bowling Green through that championship run, after that opportunity, he got a contract offer in France, England, Germany, Chile. And he's just living the dream, like you're saying, because one contract led to the next, and now the next thing you know, he's doing social media posts in a different part of the world. So
I don't think there's anybody that's happier on Facebook than Chris Watson throughout these past 4 years, that's for sure. Well, once again, we're going to take one quick break here, and we'll be right back with you. We're only 6 minutes away from the start of the second half. You're watching the Central Basketball Association playoff basketball here from Horizon Christian Academy.
If you're an athlete, you never know when an injury might happen. That's why Parkview Sports Medicine has made the new Ortho Express Clinic. Located inside of the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, the Ortho Express Clinic has everything that an athlete would need, from physicians to athletic rehab and sports performance. Parkview Sports Medicine, game on.
Get mad about blue. Get mad about your Fort Wayne Mad Ants. When looking for the best basketball action in town, it's the Go to FortWayneMadAnts.com for the complete game schedule. See your Fort Wayne Mad Ants in action. Get mad about.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Horizon Academy. We are 4 minutes and 50 seconds away from the second half of this exciting CBA semifinal game number 2. Fort Wayne on top, 53-47. And Andrew, of course, this is your first experience with the CBA. You've been covering the Fort Wayne Flite all season long. What are your impressions after this would be, game number 5 for you? Well, game number 6.
Yeah, obviously, and all the players have really adjusted well to the FIBA rules, the FIBA basketball. It is a little bit of a different basketball than what these players, I'm sure, are used to at the collegiate level in the United States. And obviously what's been neat to see is just the athletic ability on display by all teams. You could see the effort and the awareness in each player that they know, they're being watched by fans, their coaches, their teammates, but they know that every time they step out here, they're on video, and it's almost a job interview every time they lace them up, every time the ball gets tipped up. These guys are playing with great effort, and it's really been neat to watch the effort from all the teams. We see the Shuckers in here, the coal miners, obviously the Indianapolis Blaze and the Memphis Rail Runners in game 1 here. So it's been impressive. Obviously, it's also been really neat to see a lot of the local talent having coached at the high school level. You see a lot of guys that played in the SAC and played in Fort Wayne, and now they're getting a chance, as the president we just spoke with said, at overseas contracts. And it's not often that you can play your favorite sport and play it as a job interview. And that's what's neat to see these guys doing each and every weekend.
And you never know who you're gonna see. Once again, as Wasim mentioned, maybe the most impressive player in game number 1 was Jameel Best. And we got Jameel here right now after scoring 27 points. The former tight end at Mississippi State. So,
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Not Mississippi State.
Okay, well, I was looking at your shorts right there, but
this Mississippi Valley State. That was I graduated from Mississippi Valley State.
Okay.
I played at Ole Miss for 1 year.
Well, you just finished up your first season in the CBA, and what a great game you had there in game number 1.
What, this game?
Game number 1 today, yeah. Unofficially, I think we had you about 18 rebounds. You had 27 points.
Wow.
So how's your first season been in the CBA?
Man, listen. If I'd be sitting up talking the entire time if I did that. I mean, to put it in a few words, I mean, I just started playing at the beginning of the year, and I just playing with the guys and them being really, really hard on me, helping me transition from football to basketball. I wouldn't have been able to do it without the guys on my team, honestly, because we was just at it every single week. Every couple of days of every week, we was at it, practicing, going hard in practice. So I really credit it to them, and then credit it to my coach, Alondre, Sid, Penny Hardaway, just all the guys working with me, helping me get better at the game. Because I'm learning. I'm just consistently learning. Like I said, I'm not trying to talk the entire time. I know the game is going on and stuff, but I wouldn't have been able to do anything without my teammates.
Well, a quick question for you. We hear a lot about basketball players making the transition to football, whether it's Tony Gonzalez or whoever it might be in the NFL. But you've never played organized basketball? You never played in high school or anything like that? Always a football player?
I played 1 year in high school under See, they crazy, man. They crazy. But no, under Coach Michael McKenna, I played, I think, my 12th grade year, and that was it. And then I then I went to Tuskegee University, and I played on the basketball team there for maybe like 2 months. But I wasn't really into like sports and stuff. I went to school on a full scholarship. And so I really just wasn't really into sports. But then just as the years passed, especially when I got to Ole Miss, all of that changed. It was a different world. So.
Do you have aspirations of maybe playing overseas and trying to pick up a contract?
Oh, definitely, most definitely. Right now I'm just focusing on, training, going with my trainer and stuff. I have a few offers right now, but I want to, and then I also want to give a shout out to, Wasim, over the CBA, just for giving all of these guys opportunities, guys coming from all different walks of life, from around wherever the cities are at, just giving them an opportunity to get out, because all you have to do is step in that door. The second that you're in that back door, is no limit to what you can do. So I really want to give a shout out to Wasim. But yeah, I definitely want to go overseas. I plan to leave at the sometime this summer. Just now the school's out, because I teach, so I couldn't really train as much as I wanted to. The only thing I really could do was I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go train it. Yep. Train to 5 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But now that now the school is over with, I really can just focus on, getting better every day. And, somewhere I'm going, I don't know yet. I just want to get the opportunity. If I can just get in the back door somewhere and get an opportunity to be on the team, I'm not going to let anybody down. So.
Well, it was an outstanding game for you, young man. 27 points, and you look like you've been playing your whole life.
Man,
so,
I really take that as a compliment. I really, really appreciate that.
Well, we're excited to see where your future takes you. So, Jameel Best.
All right, most definitely.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, now.
So we're back to the action here in the third quarter, where the Flite have the 53-47 lead over the Middle Tennessee Storm. Antonio Cannon with the right-handed dribble drive leaves it up. Terrence Beasley goes off glass. Big T. Wilson with the right-handed hook shot. And Miles Thrash comes down with it.
Look at Miles getting in there amongst the trees and pulling down that rebound. Finds a wide open Sane. We just saw that in the first half. Sane a little short on that one.
As Water Joseph come down with the board. Joining us now, it's the president owner of the Middle Tennessee Storm, Carlin Alford. And it's great to see you again, sir.
Good to see you. Good to see you as well.
Let me make sure we got your levels where they need to be. But another impressive season. You got your head coach back in the Middle Tennessee Storm, as that's a three-pointer by Cannon, picking up where he left off. Nathan Wilhite back on the team, and it should come as no surprise. You go from 1-7 to 7-1.
Yeah, he's a perfect fit for our system, perfect fit for our program. I'm just glad to have him back. I'm glad to be back to being a GM. You know, coaching is fun, but it's a lot when you got to do that and be GM.
The thievery by Wadner Joseph, looking to go coast to coast with it, and finishes with the right.
And he does. The defensive bear claw of Wadner Joseph, picking the pocket of Pelham.
Northrop High School's finest.
Indeed. Junior varsity coach, varsity assistant coach this year for the Bruins, looking to improve up and coming the Northrop Bruin boys basketball program.
A good pump fake by Sane, but he misses. And Big T Wilson down low, battles through the contact to finish. Antonio Wilson with 4 points in this game as the Flite extend their lead to 13 points.
Little 2-3 zone by the Flite.
Pelham with the putback slam. Torrey Pelham with 9 points gives Nashville, the Middle Tennessee Storm, their first 2 points of the third quarter.
I once did that, but the rim was 7 feet high.
Torrey Pelham has a habit of making the rim look like it's 7 feet high.
Well, what a play we saw in the first quarter, too, as Lance Williams splashes the triple. Miles Thrash goes off the backboard to Torrey Pelham, who threw it down. Probably the most exciting play we've seen in the CBA this season.
Yeah, they've got great chemistry. They've been playing together for a long time. That kind of thing can happen.
But what trailer goes to Cannon. Circus shot does not fall. Thaxton up to Pelham. Wide open is Sane, and the three's no good. Cannon still down. We need a timeout here as soon as we can get one. Lance Williams Jr., and it's good.
Boy, he's hit 2 now in about 3 possessions. And Flite fans, knock on wood, but we told you the Fort Wayne Flite love to get out and score the basketball in the third quarter. They've done it all season long. A couple of injuries here for the Flite.
Well, awkwardly coming down on that left leg was Wadner Joseph. Never like to see that. Sometimes those ACL, MCLs are on some similar plays, but.
And Cannon might have got poked in the eye. Looks like the nose actually, inadvertently, I believe, on that reverse attempt.
Yeah, these guys are so athletic, so quick. I was listening to a few people in the stands who are close to the action, probably don't get to be this close to these type of athletes, and they were just admiring, like, these guys are quicker, faster, jump higher than I really thought that they could. And so, that's the CBA for you.
And how's it been for you throughout the years? Is it still easy to recruit out of Nashville? Do you guys have more of a name for yourself? Are people recruiting you?
Yeah, actually, it's both ways. Of course, we're unique in that, I have a men's league that I've been running for the last 12 years, the Nashville Christian Fellowship League. 100% of my guys come from that league. It's almost like a pro-am league. So for us, it's easy to recruit. We're just kind of weeding them out. But the hard part is that a lot of these guys are coaches. So I probably have the oldest team in the league. So this is right in the middle of AAU season. So, I've had 3 guys that were originally on our squad who really just had to bow out because their commitment to coach AAU.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for AAU. Obviously, this time of year is big in AAU basketball. I believe Alondra Rogers, who's the head coach of Memphis, also with some AAU duties. But the team's looking solid here in game number 2, the Middle Tennessee Storm. You just wonder, with only one guy on the bench, are they going to be able to keep up with the Flite or the Blaze, who have basically their whole roster?
Yeah, that is a concern. My guys are in great condition. What you're seeing right now is our typical kind of the way that we played all season long. Third quarter's been our worst quarter. Mm-hmm. And then you put that together against the Flite, who typically have a great third quarter. Yep. and what you're getting right now is this extension of this lead. But watch for us for 4 minutes down. We typically come back.
Kendon Lewis, the high flyer. Nick Gamble to Lewis, and it doesn't fall. Nice alley-oop. Pelham on the other end shows him how it's done.
Those two Fort Wayne natives know each other well, and a great look. And our first look at Nick Gamble, a point guard from Fort Wayne, played his basketball at Davenport, and Pelham athleticism on display.
Of course, Davenport University every single year in the NAIA playoffs, now an NC2A Division II school.
And the referees might have to check that floor spot. A couple players for the Storm have fallen through no fault of their own, and we might want to break out the towels.
Williams Jr. going up with the left. A beautiful thing for Lance, who now has 8 points in the third quarter alone.
Yeah, players are pointing it out. Referees are going to stop play here as little sweat on the hardwood.
Now, Carlin, I saw an article on playCBA.com, and tell us about this. The mayor of Nashville, in the future?
Well, there's a special election going on because national news, Mayor Megan Barry stepped down amidst a pretty big scandal, and that created an open and special election, and it's open to citizens now, so there's no primaries in order to run. So there's 14 of us, which is unprecedented, running for mayor, and I'm one of them, and we're in the midst of, hashing it out. It was in a debate the other night on TV, and got another one coming up on Thursday, and speaking to labor unions and teachers associations, and it's actually been a tremendous experience so far. So win or lose, I think that we're all wanting the best for Nashville, and this is kind of just the start of public service for many of us. So I'm excited, and actually, I have a shot.
Well, who better coming off a scandal than someone who leads the Christian Academy? and your background is just so great with NASCAR and baseball and all the different things that you have done. You've just met, I'm sure, so many people throughout your lifetime. You bring a lot of skills to the table.
Well, thank you. We're wanting to take those skills and use them best for our fellow residents of Davidson County. But what I want to do is I want to bring home a championship first. That's what I'd like to do, another championship.
Boy, that was a well-said political response. I like the potential here, and best of luck to you. 14-person debate, that could be interesting if it ends up being everybody on the same stage at once, boy.
Well, they break us up. So we're groups of 5. So the other night I was in the first group of 5. It's and they're going to rotate us. It's crazy.
That's good stuff. We've got to get a live stream of that going. Nick Gamble gets walled off by Pelham. I think that was just inside the arc, but misses on the long jumper. Now Pelham on the other end. Easy, too. Torrey Pelham's been a mainstay for you. Obviously, Miles Thrash. Those guys, are they helping you recruit any of the young kids?
Yeah, actually, we've gotten younger, but we just had a special situation this weekend. So our youngest guy, Mike Vardaman, graduated from Fisk University, and graduation is this weekend.
Yeah.
And then we have our center, Reed Burke, our 6'9.5" center, who really played well for us last week, gave us 20 points. His little sister graduated this weekend. And he's still very much part of the college life, supporting. So, we got a little bit younger, but we're dealing with young problems. So I'm leaning on my veterans here this weekend, and hopefully we can weather the storm here and try to get into the finals tomorrow.
Well, currently down by 12 points. It's 68-56 with 4:26 left to play in the third. What are you seeing here on the floor, Andrew?
Well, I'm starting to see, obviously, some slippery spots, but, the energy and the effort that the Storm was putting forth, and, not saying that their heart's not in it, but you're starting to see it, and you always do in the third quarter, tired legs. And what are the Flite doing right now? Bringing in fresh bodies, bringing in fresh legs, and Coach Wilmot able to do so. And if Coach Wilhite looks down at his bench, all he sees is empty chairs and one fresh body to bring in. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the Flite make a run here, and if you start to see transition baskets. And that's when sometimes basketball games can get away from one team.
And Coach Wilmot now in his 5th season here in the CBA, so it should come as no surprise that the Fort Wayne Flite have their best quarter coming out of the break when he can make the necessary adjustments.
Oh, third quarter statistics making Coach Wilmot look like a genius. I should say the well-dressed Coach Wilmot, always looking ravishing over there on the sidelines.
I like Benny Lewis's fashion budget for the Flite.
Three-pointer off the mark. Sane is actually the youngest player for Middle Tennessee at 29 years old.
And great defense there by Wadner Joseph. Sane, a great basketball body, lengthy, long arms, able to shoot it from deep. If you're a scout watching the Storm, obviously you like Pelham's athleticism, Thrash's ability, but Sane passes the look test for a lot of basketball scouts.
Yeah, he showed up in my gym in my men's league probably about 5 years ago, and I was going, how does a 6'5", long, athletic guy who can shoot from anywhere handle the rock?
Three-pointers, good.
But how do you land there? And I just Googled him and found out he won 2 state championships in Jackson in high school.
Yeah, and you love his demeanor out there. He's so focused, and it's like he's done it before every time he hits a shot.
Yeah, he's definitely a pro. He's definitely a pro. And you have legendary stories. A lot of these guys were at the Pro-Am game where Tyreek Evans was playing and Josh Shane stole the show and had like 40-some-odd points. Tyreek had 30-something. They were just going back and forth.
Beasley gives it back up to Nick Gamble, who's fresh off his first three-pointer made in this game.
And what a luxury for Coach Wilmot to be able to bring in a attack guard like Nick Gamble.
Yeah, Gamble's a good-looking player. We know this team. We know this team well. I mean, even though we don't play in the regular season much anymore, they're our rival. I mean, these are the guys we want to beat.
And it looks like we got a charging foul going to be called on Torrey Pelham.
The
to
veteran,
his dismay.
The veteran Wadner Joseph, as we call him, shuffling, making one hard slide to the baseline, getting his chest in front of his shoulder. Easy to say, hard to do, especially when it's Pelham's shoulder that you got to get in front of.
Joseph, certainly a veteran on the Flite. He's the second oldest player at 31 years old, oldest player being Robert Banks at 33. Well, we'd like to thank the president, Carlin Alford, for joining us here in the booth. And next up, we got Krishan Hopkins.
And best of luck to Carl in his political efforts in Nashville.
So Krishan Hopkins is he's kind of the battery that drives the Indianapolis Blaze, as you like to say. Nice bucket there by Ronald Lucas for the Flite, getting the scoring going. But Andrew, Krishan Hopkins is your favorite player, and he just thinks everything runs through Krishan Hopkins. How do you feel about that, Krishan?
I appreciate it, man. I got to give a shout-out to my teammates. They the one that make it possible for me, that's for sure.
Well, when we're looking at this game right here, Miles Thrash is a veteran in the CBA, one of the most prolific scorers in CBA history. Love watching him play. He's 37 years old, still getting it done on the floor. He almost seems like a combination of you and Anthony White Jr.
That man put up some tough shots, and he makes some tough shots, that's for sure.
You know,
he's their battery, like you say I am for our team.
Oh, 100% he is for really the CBA in general throughout all these years. Pelham down low is just battling. Knocks it down for Pelham. Now he's got 8 points here in the third. He certainly is. Well, with the Indianapolis Blaze, are you guys at your best in transition, or is it when you have Anthony White, knocking them down, and you also have Franklin Gatson knocking them down as well? Is that when you guys are at your best?
Oh, wow. Yeah, man, our teammates, man, we run in transition. That's what we do in practice. We run every day. And it comes second nature when you just do it every day. I mean, we have fun with it. We play as much as we can with each other. And once you get the running, it's hard for teams to keep up that don't play that type of style.
So Gamble trips up there, near steal by Thrash, but the Middle Tennessee Storm has it. He rises up. 4-3, Miles Thrash.
Somebody said it over there. It's a little Jamal Crawford. That's definitely what he is.
And I heard you say wow earlier as he had the spin move and then the feed to Pelham for the dunk. What impresses you about number one's game?
Man, the fact that he's 37 and the way he moves, he moves like he's 25. His body he's in great shape, and he has a good feel for the game. Like, that's what I like about it. He's aggressive. He plays hard.
Terrence Beasley takes the contact, but for Beasley, he now has 16 points in this game. Thrash looked like he wanted to rise up, gives it over to Pelham at the last second.
That's tough to guard. And you got a guard that's super aggressive like that can make shots. It's tough to guard. That's for sure.
Knight now with 7 points in this game. Middle Tennessee down by 12 as they're starting to chip away at this lead, 77-65. That's Ronald Lucas still knocking him down.
Chris Sean, congrats on the semifinal victory. Obviously, you're in the championship tomorrow against one of these two teams. And just a little bit about your game. You know, we saw you here 2 weeks ago in Fort Wayne when you guys got the overtime victory, and I mentioned how if this game was a checkers game, you seem to almost be out there playing chess, that you can see the next play. Sometimes, you know, that half second before most players do it, and that you rarely turn it over. Is that something that you've always been able to do as a player going back to high school and college?
Yeah, man, I've always had a pretty great feel for the game. I love the game of basketball. I watch it every day. It's something that I enjoy doing, and I enjoy seeing my teammates succeed. So I always try to make the next play so they're happy. You know what I'm saying? They're playing with me. I'm playing with them. It just makes it a lot of fun for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys share it really well, and obviously it showed in that second half of that first game.
Yeah.
And what's the feedback been like in Indianapolis with the Blaze and the CBA? Are other people picking up on it? I mean, obviously Indianapolis is a huge market, but basketball is probably better in Indianapolis than anywhere else in the country. Has there been any feedback with the Blaze, or are you guys getting in high schools helping any of the younger kids?
We get a couple high school kids that come through there, and that's kudos to our coach. He has a great AAU program, so it's easy for us to get.
Pelham down low is going to be fouled by Joseph, and he'll head to the free throw line.
It's easy for us to get some fans in there, and especially us being in that Broad Ripple area. Right after the game, a lot of people go out to the clubs and the bars down there, so that's a great marketing point for our team and for Tara and Derek, which is our owners. So, I mean, it's a pretty good situation we got going on down there.
Will you guys be able to stay at Broad Ripple since they're closing their doors?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out. I mean, we're playing one game at a time. We're just worried about this season, and then once next season comes up, we'll get it all figured out. Like I said, Derek and Tara, they're great. They're phenomenal for our program, and I mean they take care of us. That's for sure.
Great box out there by Gamble on Pelham as he was able to get that rebound.
Absolutely. Hustle all over the floor here. 10 seconds left. The Flite obviously looking to get the last possession here.
They're definitely letting them play.
They were letting them play in the first half of your game as well, as that's going to do it. The Flite up 80-69 as we head to the fourth quarter.
It's a close game. It's a good game. Middle Tennessee's standing there, even though they got 6 guys over there.
So now the Blaze in your third season, a lot of success for this Indianapolis program, but still no CBA championship. Is it bring home the hardware, or is this season going to be unsuccessful for you guys?
Man, we were just talking about that in the locker room. We're 9-0, so if we lose tomorrow, the undefeated season means nothing.
And we got the big man here, William McClure, who I think McClure probably had about 7 blocks in that game, didn't he, Andrew?
Boy,
he ain't never
9 blocks.
7 or 8.
He's never blocked my shot.
He just corrected it. It was 9. And
he's never blocked my shot.
had an excellent battle there with Jameel Best, an impressive effort by Best, and McClure did not back down.
2 gorillas down there fighting.
At
Those
all.
dudes are huge.
Well, you tell us, what was your impression of Jameel Best, who was a college tight end?
Yeah, he was a lot bigger than what I thought he was. They were telling me, like, he played football, and he's 6'8", 250 or whatever. I was like, yeah, we got somebody just as big, but when I seen him, that's a big dude, man. You don't see too many basketball players like that, that's for sure.
Pretty athletic as well, isn't he?
Yeah. He's super athletic. Our big man, he thinks he's the strongest dude in Indiana, and he said Jameel was pretty strong.
Well, you're talking about freakish athletic moves. Tyler Bibbs, I mean, what's his vert at, like 48 inches?
I don't know if it's that. It's pretty close, though. That dude, he gets up quick. He gets up quick, that's for sure. He'll have a jumping competition with this guy right here.
With Torrey Pelham.
Man,
speaking of Pelham, we're going to go to a quick highlight. Watch this transition action as playmaker for the Storm, Thrash, is going to create here, and Pelham, who might be the best finisher in the CBA, is going to catch it. Slippery is Thrash, and then Pelham. He's got springs like a.
So the three-pointer by Sane was off the mark here. Stoppage in play as possession is going to stay with Middle Tennessee, and it's going to be Miles Thrash on the trigger for the Storm.
He's shooting that. Oh. They shoot tough shots. Their whole team does.
Three-point attempt by Knights, no good. Thaxton battling on the block as he does. Gets it to fall. Frank Thaxton now with 8 points. His first 2 points of the second half. Frank Thaxton may not be the biggest guy on the roster. He's listed at 6'2", 190, but he battles down there in the low post.
He's more than 190. He has to be. That's a big dude. He's at least 210.
Wilson Thomas. Floater's no good. Krishan, overall, your thoughts on the CBA? I mean, obviously you were at Butler. You enjoyed a great career there. But you're still getting to play some basketball here in an organized setting.
Yeah, my whole focus on it is trying to use it as a vehicle to get somewhere else. I've been playing 3 years in the CBA, and I love this league. It's physical. It's going to get me ready if I end up playing somewhere else.
And what has the feedback been from the scouts and stuff, other team owners overseas?
Man, I just signed an agent probably last week. So I haven't really been talking to any other teams. I just been using it for the film mainly. And now that I have 3 years worth of film, I feel like I should be set to go here pretty soon whenever an upcoming season comes up or if I get an offer from a different team.
Well, you and Anthony have definitely been the driving force behind that team ever since you guys joined the CBA. And like I said, the Blaze came in year number 1 to win.
Yeah, that's for sure. We came in, we tried to stack our team as best we could, and it didn't work out so good the first year. Second year was a lot better than the first year, that's for sure. And then this year has been way better than last year, even though we argue a lot. But, I mean, we're brothers, we're a family, and we'll fight for each other, and that's what we do.
Brings out the competitive juices.
Yeah, it does. We're all competitive, and it makes everybody better.
And I know you know this man right here, Antonio Cannon, as he's from the Indianapolis area as well, his hometown. Ronald Lucas knocking it down.
That is a hot hand. The Flite might want to find him. Often good with the ball in his hands on the dribble.
Oh,
that was halfway down. Almost want to give him a point and a half for that.
Wilson Thomas baseline floater. Back rim's no good. Thrash with the board. Kendon Lewis was there to knock it away. And now Lewis looking for the, that was a smart play by Torrey Pelham because Lewis can rise up and give himself a high percentage shot.
Boy, Pelham kind of walking off. You don't know if that's a cramp. They have logged a lot of minutes already.
So we're going to have, I think, Krishan's teammate here, William McClure, join us. Krishan, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on, man.
So much fun to watch you play, too. And good luck tomorrow in the finals.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm going to need it. We're going to need it for sure. It's not just going to be a walk in the park, that's for sure.
Well, you guys can watch that action tomorrow, 2 p.m. here from the Horizon Academy in Fort Wayne, Indiana. 85-73 is your score as Kendon Lewis knocks it away from Sane, but possession's going to stay with Middle Tennessee.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Baseline drive by Thaxton had it blocked. We're coming the other way with Antonio Cannon. Splits defenders. He was looking for the flush there, had it knocked away in midair. Outlet pass makes its way to Sane. 3-point attempt off the heel. We saw Sane, he was hot in the first quarter. He hit 4 3-pointers. Been a little bit cold since. Andrew, do you attribute that to just the weary legs here?
You know, a little bit. Obviously, it's now 32 minutes in, and some of these guys have logged them all. That a tough 3 in transition for anyone. But Saints started out hot. That's when your mind is juiced, your legs are fresh, and been a little tougher to find the net for all teams.
3-point attempt, no good. Well, joining us now, it's William McClure, the 28-year-old, 6'7", 210 pounds from Central Michigan University. 210, maybe packing a little bit more than that?
Yeah, I'm probably around 230 right now.
About 230. Well, tell us about that Game 1 battle with you and Jameel Beast, or Best, excuse me, but he played like a beast.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm looked at as probably the enforcer, I guess you would say, on the team. So playing someone of his stature, it was a good time.
Absolutely, and it was fun to watch that matchup, the one-on-one. You and Tyler Bibbs basically make up that low post presence for the Indianapolis Blaze. How do you guys feed off each other? Whoa, Kendon Lewis. Other end, bucket's
Nice.
good by Saint.
A great finish by Saint despite Cannon's effort there.
Holy cow. But once again, just the combo between you and Tyler Bibbs.
Yeah, Tyler, I enjoy playing with him. Tyler enjoys blocking shots as well. I am a little bit better at it, I'll say. But we have a good timing. We can usually gauge who's going to jump, and we have a good rotation going where if we see the other going, we'll rotate to the other person's man. We complement each other pretty well.
And talk about Krishan Hopkins, Anthony White Jr. Does it get any better than playing with those two guards right there?
No, I love both of them. Anthony White, who's sitting here arguing it in my face currently. We went to the same high school, went to the same junior college, so I've known him for a while. And then you got Krishan, who I honestly think is one of the best guards in Indianapolis. When you have two guards like them, it makes it pretty easy.
85-81, Middle Tennessee. Andrew, they keep chipping away at this lead.
Boy, I tell you what, they're hitting threes, they're getting stops, and it's feeding their energy. And three more by, surprise, surprise, Miles Thrash. It is a 1-point game.
Miles Thrash now with 25 points. William, just your thoughts on number one, Miles Thrash. He's 37 years old for the Middle Tennessee Storm.
He reminds me a lot of Jamal Crawford, actually. He has an extremely quick jumper, and he is – oh, wow. And he's not afraid to take that jumper.
Kendon Lewis, the high flyer.
That was almost a rebound putback dunk for the ages. And then the ball got tipped out of bounds. I think it might have hit Thrash, who was waiting on the ground. Got a little help from Kendon Lewis to get there. And then back to McClure. Obviously, you had 9 blocks unofficially in the first game there. And I think what I loved the most about you and Best kind of battling was that you guys were talking. You were going at each other, but I think it was pure competitive nature. Nothing ill will between you guys, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good time, and I love playing games like that. It was extremely physical. We were both extremely active. And it actually brought the best out of both of us because we both obviously want to come out on top. And especially with there being no ill will for it and it bringing the best out of you, you can't help but enjoy it.
Thrash was looking for a foul there at the top of his jump shot. None called. Good defense there by Wadner Joseph, because if it's not called, it's not a foul, Andrew.
Exactly right, and everything contested here. Shots, rebounds, nothing going to be easy, I don't think, for either team in the next 5.5 minutes.
Ooh, Frank Daxton with the thievery gets the pass, and a huge block by Big T, Antonio Wilson.
McClure, if you can, walk us through this block shot here by, we're going to go straight to a highlight. Walk us through this block shot attempt as here comes the Storm in transition.
Tone times him, waiting on him. The best thing is Tone waits for him for that second to let him get ahead, think that he has the wide open lane, and then he already has his timing down. He sees him taking off, so Tone rises to his jump and catches the ball at the top. It's the best way to do it.
Sort of let the offense commit, almost reeled him in and then blocked it at the top. Something, Jeff, I was never able to do.
Nerf ball?
Never.
No. Okay. Well, maybe next time. 85-84, 5:25 left to play. You guys had an opportunity last year to win the championship. You lost it to the Fort Wayne Flite. This year, you sweep the Flite, win both games at your place and here. Is it championship or bust tomorrow for the Indianapolis Blaze?
Oh, for sure. Nothing else matters. The undefeated season doesn't matter if we don't win this game tomorrow. Everybody still had that sour taste in our mouth after last year. And as much as we've played Fort Wayne and only being a few hours away, we've grown accustomed to playing them and us being the top 2 teams in the league. The way that we lost last year, it bothered us. It's bothered us all season. And that's all we're looking forward to is this championship game tomorrow. We didn't have Anthony White last year, which hurt us a lot. We're glad that we have him back for this game tomorrow. And I can't say that it'll definitely be Fort Wayne, but regardless who we play tomorrow, it's definitely championship or bust for us.
Absolutely. We could not figure it out right now because the score is 85-84, and Miles Thrash right off the heel, no good, but a rebound by Sane. Floater knocks it down. Middle Tennessee takes the lead at 86-85.
Rebounding, defensive rebounding proven difficult here for the Flite in the last 3.5 minutes. And the Storm getting multiple cracks at it and collapsing defensively every single drive.
That was Antonio Cannon finding the wide-open shooter, Lance Williams Jr. But now the Middle Tennessee Storm, with all the momentum in the world and a leader, floor general like Miles Thrash. What a find that was, finding Thaxton right on the block. And I'm not sure what's going on right here, Andrew.
Yeah, I don't know if that is a goaltend at this level. The FAR official called it as Big Tone's right hand came into contact with the backboard. I don't think it affected the shot in any manner. And so you see the referees kind of consulting each other about that. It'll be interesting what they say. Obviously, if you're wearing purple, you want that to be a goaltend.
What'd you see there, Mr. McClure?
Nothing. I saw nothing that should have been called.
Hey, talking about some of the calls in that first game, it seemed like they were letting you guys play there in the first half. It seemed like a very physical game. Was it fun to be a part of? Would you have liked to see more fouls called?
Honestly, yeah. When you let games get too physical, it causes players to take it into their hands sometimes and take it out on other players. I fully agree. I'm a physical player. I enjoy when you let us play, but there's certain things that have to be called, and when those aren't called, it causes the game to get messy both ways. But I'm all for being able to play.
And your teammate, Krishan Hopkins, said you are the strongest man in Indiana. Is this the truth?
I like to think so. Maybe not in the weight room, but meet me anywhere inside a basketball court, you'll find out that it's true.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a pleasure watching you play. That battle in game number 1 with you and Jameel Best was it makes you want to kind of go back and rewatch the game film because that was a lot of fun to watch. So congratulations to you. Good luck tomorrow in the championship. And good luck in your pursuit to maybe get a contract overseas.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, best of luck tomorrow. Fire up chips.
Hey, yeah. Fire up chips, definitely. Central Michigan, shout out.
Once again, folks, that's William McClure that was joining us in the booth. A great game that he had as he and the Blaze advanced to the CBA championship game tomorrow. 2 p.m. tip-off from the Horizon Academy here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we're about ready to get back to the action. 4:35 left to play. 86-85. Middle Tennessee has retaken this game, Andrew.
And momentum has definitely shifted here. If you remember back in this quarter, the Flite found themselves up 10, 12 points, and with all the momentum, with all the fresh legs. And it's amazing how a couple of made baskets, a couple of defensive stops can bring energy into the most tired of legs. And it's going to be a hard-fought 4 minutes and 35 seconds. The Flite are going to have to scratch their way back into this.
17-5, Middle Tennessee up in the fourth quarter. So the Storm have come out to score here. Antonio Cannon looking to guide his team back to the lead into a victory.
And their interior defense has been phenomenal. Every drive, the lane is clogged up, as you see there. And even there, nothing easy. Purple jerseys, purple arms collapsing and making life difficult.
Kevin Wilkinson, a steady presence down there on the block, listed at 6'8", 220 from Georgia Perimeter College.
Yeah, these guys are playing defense with a purpose. And Coach Wilhite's got to be thrilled with the effort and the mental fortitude to play 2 games this weekend.
So Big T Wilson to shoot 2 at the free throw line. Antonio on the season, a 67% free throw shooter, hitting 6 of 9. So not a whole lot of trips to the charity stripe after 8 games.
Well, but these are big. The Flite literally just need to see the ball go in the basket. Sometimes you start to think that there's a lid on top of that. That might be the mentality right now. But if he can knock both of these down, the next couple of possessions might mentally be a little easier for the Flite.
Yeah, you just got to kind of wonder if Middle Tennessee is able to squeak out this victory, what are they going to have left tomorrow for the Indianapolis Blaze?
Absolutely. Obviously, they're staying in town tonight and going to be able to rest the legs. But not going to be easy. The Blaze, a tough foe for anybody who plays them tomorrow.
Big T hits the second. We are tied up at 86. Antonio Wilson now with 5 points in this game, as Terrence Beasley is going to check back in for Kendon Lewis.
And another fall on a slippery floor. We might have to find a mop. I don't know if the walking towel is going to be enough.
Terrence Beasley re-enters the game with 16 points. What a first quarter he had, Andrew. He scored 11 in the first alone.
Yeah, and you got to think he's going to be out there. The Flite now with their 5 starters out there, the 5 who started the game, and you got to think Beasley's going to be out there in the next 4-11.
Refs taking their time with this one, making sure they get it right here. This is a crucial part of the game. Tied at 86 with 4:11 left to play.
Yeah, and what the Flite have to do is just limit the Storm to one shot, one crack at it. The last 5-6 possessions, they've had multiple offensive rebounds and just giving themselves opportunities to get back in it.
The big man, Torrey Pelham, handling the rock for the Storm. Thrash takes the contact, as that's a steal by the Flite. And there's going to be a foul called on Torrey Pelham.
Yeah, and that's a good foul. I think he knew he was trying to stop a transition break there. But great ball screen defense by Wadner Joseph. He was playing tight defense on his man who was the screener, but as Thrash came off, you can bet Coach Wilmot said every ball screen that Thrash comes off, we're going to double team and jump it, force him to give it up. And that's exactly what they did there.
.353 to play. Antonio Cannon having a word here with the Indianapolis Blaze players. Says he hasn't dunked in 6 months. But we know that Antonio can rise up with the best of them. It's going to be Wadner Joseph with the inbounds pass. The veteran making sure his team is ready for this final .350 in this semifinal game. The winner goes to the championship to take on the Indianapolis Blaze. The Blaze now a perfect 9-0 during the 2018 season. They're just the second ever team to finish off a regular season undefeated. And of course, we talked about that, Andrew. The first team to do it was the Fort Wayne Flite in that magical 2016 season where they won it all.
Yeah, and you know, if they're able to pull off something this season, you could call it magical as well. As it's going to take a magical effort simply to get out of game 1 with a win in advance. This is a call out now to all towels in the Fort Wayne, greater Fort Wayne area. If you are dry and able to make it into Horizon Christian Academy, please do so. We're going to take a break here and dry the floor. Our video man, Balin, is actually known for his towel drying skills. I don't know if he has a moment or not. No, he does not.
He does not. Per the request of the president, Wasim Murad of the CBA.
Right.
But a nice atmosphere here at the Horizon Academy. A smaller venue than what we've been used to, but a nice, cozy, kind of intimate feel. It's actually really nice to see these guys up close and personal play this great game.
Yeah, and as Carl mentioned, a lot of fans get to see up close just how athletic and how fast and physical professional basketball is in the CBA. And this is a great place to see it. I mean, literally right now we're within 5 feet of action, and really any fan in the building could get themselves there and see just how hard these guys play, the physicality, how skilled you have to be able to handle that and still play the game of basketball. So it's definitely on display, and it's a playoff atmosphere for sure with the intensity.
They say in the NBA sometimes the court just seems so small because the guys are so big and athletic. This court right here, sometimes it seems like it's too small because of the athleticism and the size of these guys.
Oh, absolutely. You put your head down for a moment, and a layup at one end is now a three-pointer at the other, and, it's fun to watch. Good entertainment in the Summit City.
So it's Lance Williams Jr. to inbound it for the Flite. 3:41 to play. Gives it to Big T right here at the timeline. Antonio Wilson, right-hand dribble drive. He's going to leave it off to Wadner Joseph. Big Antonio Cannon has not scored in the fourth quarter yet. Three-pointer off the mark. As there was a buzzer that sounded, not sure if that was the shot clock buzzer or what.
I think they're going to count that basket.
For Wadner Joseph?
Insane. On the far end, just got teed up and feeling that the shot clock had gone off. Kind of letting his emotions maybe get the best of him. And
we're going to take a break here in the action, and we'll be right back with you with some more CBA playoff basketball from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
If you're an athlete, you never know when an injury might happen. That's why Parkview Sports Medicine has made the new Ortho Express Clinic. Located inside of the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, the Ortho Express Clinic has everything that an athlete would need, from physicians to athletic rehab and sports performance. Parkview Sports Medicine, game on.
Get mad about blue. Get mad about your Fort Wayne Mad Ants. When looking for the best basketball action in town, it's the Go to FortWayneMadAnts.com for the complete game schedule. See your Fort Wayne Mad Ant in action. Get mad about.
We are back here at the Horizon Academy with 3:23 left to play. We are tied at 86 apiece, and Joshua Sane for the Middle Tennessee Storm has been asked to leave this ball game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a missed call. I don't know if they've actually counted that layup by Joseph.
Well, the points aren't on the official scoreboard.
That's correct. And then the technical free throw called, so Cannon now is going to shoot a free throw, and it should be Fort Wayne Flite possession after this free throw attempt by Cannon.
It's good as the PA announcer starts talking right in the middle of his stroke.
And the Flite now have taken the lead back in an interesting, what could be a very interesting turn of events here. And because of that action, Sane now leaves the Storm with nobody on the bench. I don't believe Coach Wilhite is allowed to play. He does not have a jersey or a number.
Or the right shoes.
Correct. That could be very detrimental to his ankles if he were to try to give full effort.
But still already undermanned now nobody can enter the game for Middle Tennessee, but they do have Miles Thrash and Torrey Pelham on the floor, which is good news if you're a Storm fan. But Sane was hot in this game.
And I believe the Flite will now be in the bonus the rest of the game, as the Storm have reached that 4-foul limit. So 2 free throws for each foul the rest of the game. Pelham gobbles that rebound, and Wilson going to be called for the reach-in. Pelham not happy about the reach-in.
So you can kind of tell that Middle Tennessee kind of feels like this game's being taken away from them. Still, 3:12 left to play. They are very much in this game, down 87-86. Frank Thaxton with the inbounds pass. It's going to be Thrash against Lance Williams Jr.
And you got to expect any ball screen that Thrash comes off of, there's going to be a hard double, forcing him to give it up.
Pelham with the pick.
And they do. Pelham lets it go from 22. Good box out by Joseph. And that is exactly what the Flite wanted, the ball out of Thrash's hands. And a long shot from the Storm.
It's Antonio Cannon.
They love this double ball screen. He reads the defense goes under.
And now we got a foul going to be called on Pelham. And he's not too happy about it.
No, I don't know if he's limping or tired or cramping, but Beasley, a tough box out on any given shot, forced a pushing foul on Pelham, and I believe that Beasley will be shooting 2 free throws.
Never a dull moment here in the Central Basketball Association. Folks, remember to visit www.playCBA.com for the latest in CBA basketball action.
Statistics galore, really a well put together website by the CBA. You can get information on every player, every team stats, player stats, historical stats,
league records,
up to date news, and highlights. Beasley now stretches the Fort Wayne lead to 2 with 2:39 remaining.
And Beasley's perfect from the free throw line in this game, a perfect 2 of 2.
Yeah, Pelham, I believe, just fouled out. But again, in FIBA rules, he is allowed to play. He is allowed to play. A sixth player foul would simply result in a technical. There is no ejection. And I believe the president of the CBA is informing the officials of that. Pelham going to have to be super careful out there.
So Pelham picked up his 5th. He doesn't have to leave the game, but every foul from there on out will be a technical?
Correct. Obviously, the big fear is for the Storm that 2 technicals would result in an ejection and next game suspension, which in this case would be the championship game tomorrow should Middle Tennessee advance into tomorrow's championship. Now, again, his next foul would simply be his first technical and not an ejection. But 2:39, a lot of possessions remaining here in the semifinal number 2.
2:39 left to play in this ball game with the Flite up by 3. And it's safe to say that the chips are stacked against the Middle Tennessee Storm. Back to the action as Pelham brings it over the timeline. Knight finds Thrash. Thrash being guarded by Wadner Joseph. No foul called on the three-point shot. Thrash asks for it back. Wadner Joseph playing the lockdown defense on Thrash as he spins away from him.
Boy,
fadeaway
Thrash,
jumper's no good.
What body control. I mean, he's spinning, jumping, fading, and still able to go straight up on that shot.
With his shoulders square to the cup.
And the Storm trapping, I mean, there's a 24-second shot clock. You don't have to foul. But Cannon contorts his body, and a big bucket. That pushes it to a 2-possession lead. And the Storm kind of letting it fly. I'm not sure if they have to. A lot of time remaining. Maybe press them a little too early, the Storm offense and defense.
(91-86) now, under 2 minutes left to play. Could it be a rematch of last year's CBA championship game? Well, it's Wadner Joseph at the free throw line for the Fort Wayne Flite. Wads with 2 points in this game. This is his first free throw attempt of the contest. Joseph entering today a 52% free throw shooter, hitting 14 of 27.
Yeah, that one's short. And there was a whistle here. I'm not sure what the call was.
Wadner Joseph out of beautiful Miami, Florida.
I believe a timeout called by the Storm. A storm of emotions currently in the gymnasium. Jeff?
Well, it's a heck of a timeout called there by head coach Nathan Wilhite.
And give Coach Wilhite a ton of credit. He walked in the gym today with 6 players against a very, very good Fort Wayne Flite team, and these Storm players have given everything that the Flite could want in a contest. And with 1 minute and 50 seconds, that is a ton of time in professional basketball. With a 24-second shot clock, we're looking at 10 to 15 possessions still remaining in the game, and a lot can happen.
And Joshua Sane leaving the game here with 22 points under his belt. He had 10 points alone in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Also keep in mind, under 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, a timeout advances the ball on any dead ball.
And that is good news for the Middle Tennessee Storm, as they'd be able to save a few.
Sane now watching, I believe, in street clothes from the doorway.
But you are right about that young man. What a game. What a shot by Joshua Sane. He can shoot it. 29 years old, out of Middle Tennessee State University.
One more shot for Joseph, and this is a big one to stretch it to 6. And you gotta believe Coach Wilhite drew up some offensive action that he wants to see.
Plenty of time here for the Storm, down by 5 points. Pelham takes it top of the key. Contact by Joseph. No blocking called on Joseph there with the contact.
And another consultation. Jeff, while we have a moment here, I want to talk to you about tomorrow's 2 p.m. championship game. What time would you encourage fans to show up?
You know, I'm thinking you arrive here by 1:40. You're going to get your pick of probably the best seats here.
Absolutely.
But, of course, the concession stand now, the popcorn's going to be hot and fresh. And it's hard to watch a basketball game without a bag of popcorn in your hand. So.
And actually, earlier today, I visited the concession stand, and I'd never seen this before. There was apples available, and I bought one. Delicious. Healthy.
And nutritional.
And delicious. The concession stand apple.
Either way, though, it's always going to be an exciting, intense game. If it is the Flite and the Blaze, you know what you got. But to be honest with you, Middle Tennessee, the 6 players they have brought are really impressive.
Absolutely. Obviously fighting fatigue. Perhaps maybe fighting some gentlemen in striped shirts. That's to be decided by the players, not us. But what could be really fun tomorrow is the third match and a rematch of last year's championship game between the Blaze and the Fort Wayne Flite. These two teams separated by 2 hours of Highway 69. and know each other so very well. It's going to be a battle for the CBA championship, a battle for state bragging rights against two teams that this year so far Indianapolis has been the victors in both games, but they have been close. I believe decided by 5 points total in 2 games. So it ought to be exciting.
Well, we got the 2 owners, Benny Lewis for the Flite and Carlin Alford for the Middle Tennessee Storm getting involved. This has been nothing short of entertaining.
Hey, a little Cinco de controversy, if you will.
Minus your margarita.
Well, and I tell you what, the night is young, as is the game of Miles Thrash.
Indeed.
Impressive to say the least.
37 years young.
I believe if I had his, energy and enthusiasm, I would be in much better shape. He is a natural 5-hour energy. That's what he is.
Well, looking at, Middle Tennessee, Frank Thaxton has been to Mexico and played ball. Torrey Pelham has played in the United Arab Emirates along with Mexico. Marquise Patton in Israel, as that's why he didn't make the travel or the trip today. Roy McFadden in Taiwan. You look at the Fort Wayne Flite, they have had so many players get overseas experience. And that includes their coach, Rod Wilmot, who played in England and in Canada.
Little dip across the pond, a little trip up to our attic. And that's probably the greatest thing about the CBA is the opportunities it presents to players to earn a living playing the game that they love. And obviously they only have a few years in their lives to do this because of the athletic requirements.
Thrash, 3-pointers, no good. 1:22 left to play. That was rebounded by Joseph. Lance Williams Jr. splits the defenders, kicks out. Cannon, he's going to stall it a little bit. 12 minutes left on the shot clock, as the clock is the Flite's friend.
Active hands there by the Storm. Beasley turns, a little collision there. Boy, that could have been worse than it was. And I believe the Storm going to be called for that foul. And that foul called on Frank Thaxton.
1:03 left to play in this one.
And we hope this avoids a consultation. Let's just shoot some free throws and keep playing.
And it really looks like too little too late here for the Storm now with just 1:03 left to play. Last couple threes just haven't been dropping for Miles Thrash. And don't get me wrong, he's been covered like a blanket, but...
Absolutely, and good news for the Storm is the Flite have not been converting at the free throw line, as Beasley does convert that one.
Beasley is now a perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line in this game. He's got 19 points.
Perfection Bakers.
Second's good as well. Terrence Beasley, the veteran for the Fort Wayne Flite, only 28 years old, from the University of West Florida. He's out of Pensacola, Florida.
And Beasley actually going to be shooting one more because that foul was actually called on Frank Thaxton, who he has 5. I'm confused. I believe they're thinking it was on Pelham. That foul was called on Frank Thaxton, wasn't it?
No indicator on the scoreboard. Sorry about that, Andrew.
Shake it off. And that was a 3-point possession, all converted by Beasley, and now it's 5-on-4.
Thrash.
Wait, Pelham just walked back onto the floor.
Maybe it's like a nice steal by Pelham off the bench. 3-pointer's no good. Thaxton down low with the right hand, no good. Tip out. Picked up by Thrash. Nice body control once again by Miles, as he did not run into Andrew. Thaxton. Lay-in's no good.
I thought Thrash might try to shoot that, and I would have been surprised if it went in.
This is going to do it. Shot clock down to 7. Game clock at 20.
And again, you kind of see them recognizing the situation, but you cannot fault the Middle Tennessee Storm for lack of effort in today's game. They have given the Flite all they wanted, and I think a disappointed Storm team will head to the locker room. But fans, we have your championship set tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Fort Wayne Flite look to protect their championship trophy and retain it for a third year in a row, and they will do so against the Indianapolis Blaze.
Well, we can take one more break here from the Horizon Academy, and we'll go over the final scoring before tomorrow's championship game.
If you're an athlete, you never know when an injury might happen. That's why Parkview Sports Medicine has made the new Ortho Express Clinic. Located inside of the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, the Ortho Express Clinic has everything that an athlete would need, from physicians to athletic rehab and sports performance. Parkview Sports Medicine, game on.
Get mad about blue. Get mad about your Fort Wayne Mad Ants. When looking for the best basketball action in town, it's the Go to FortWayneMadAnts.com for the complete game schedule. See your Fort Wayne Mad Ants in action. Get mad about.
Welcome back to the Horizon Christian Academy, where it's a final. The Fort Wayne Flite winning it 94-86. We're going to go over the scoring for you. For the Storm, Miles Thrash with 25 points, Joshua Sane with 22, Kevin Wilkinson with 4 points, Marquette Knight with 7, Frank Thaxton with 8, and Torrey Pelham with 20. For the Flite, Antonio Cannon 19 points, Lance Williams Jr. with 10, Kenan Lewis with 12, Nick Gamble with 8 points, Ronald Lucas with 16, Elijah Wilson Thomas with 2, Wadner Joseph with 2, 21 points for Terrence Beasley, and Big T, Antonio Wilson with 5 points. So once again, tomorrow, 2 p.m. tip-off, the Fort Wayne Flite versus the Indianapolis Blaze. Andrew, your thoughts on tomorrow's matchup?
Again, it's going to be a championship game with championship effort. We kind of expected out of both teams. Haven't seen both teams play. It's very similar styles. I think it's really going to come down to three-point shooting and which team can hit with the hand in their face, because both teams have really, really good guards. They got bodies that go in and bang, and there is a lot on the line for both teams. It should be a toss-up. If I was a betting man, I'd actually take the day off and not bet, because I don't even want to call it tomorrow. Should be fun.
Well, that's a wrap for the semifinal action here from Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's going to be the Fort Wayne Flite and the Indianapolis Blaze taking on tomorrow's 2 p.m. tip-off for the Central Basketball Association Championship. On behalf of Balin High, our cameraman, and Andrew Wiss, the color commentary, my name is Jeff Mahoney. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful night, everybody.